Welcome to Fox Fanfiction. Today's story explores a surprising twist. What if Naruto was in love with Sasuke, and Sakura got jealous? Night, and Naruto had just got back from another trip with Pervy Sage. He and Jiraiya has been on mission to figure out what the Akatsuki planned on doing after Lord Orochimaru had almost completed his mission in using Sasuke as a host. It was late and the two stopped at some hot springs for the night. Naruto was too busy to bother arguing with Jiraiya about stopping, and Naruto was really tired and they were only one day's journey from their village. So Naruto went to the room while Pervy Sage was bathing in the hot springs with laddies. While Naruto thought that he never would see that, Pervy Sage acting as a laddie's man. Well, that was a sight, but back to Naruto. He was looking at some files they had picked up on their journey, hoping that there would be something to help him find Sasuke. While looking through the files, Naruto's emotions began to just explode. He was so frustrated that they had let Sasuke slip just through their fingers yet again. This was now the 5th time he had let Sakura down. When they were little, Naruto had made a promise to her that he would bring Sasuke back home. He promised to bring Sasuke back to a home where people were thinking about him. As Naruto's thoughts continued to run a rampage, they were disturbed when Jiraiya walked in. "Hey Naruto, you're sure you don't want to come in? The water's just right and the view is wonderful, if you know what I mean," said Jiraiya. "Oh, just knock it off. Can't you think of anything except for the ladies?" "Ah well, number. How else do you expect me to write such fabulous books? Oh, and by the way Naruto, I forgot we have to make a stop on our way before we return home. There is something that I need to take care of." "What, are you freaking kidding me? You said no more stops. Look, Lady Tsunade sent me for this one, so if you have a problem." "Ah, okay, I think we'll defiantly be able to pick up whatever it is that she needs us to pick up. Don't worry, the people are going to meet us halfway, so basically this shouldn't take long. Oh, and Naruto, you better be nice. The lady we are escorting is a guest to the village, and I don't think that Lady Tsunade would want you to go and ruin things with your big mouth." "Wait, what? A girl is coming? You said it was a package." "Not a girl. Naruto, I never said anything about it being a package, I just simply said that Lady Tsunade sent me on a task, and Naruto, regardless, behave yourself." "Hey, when don't I behave?" Jiraiya just left without saying another word after that and went to sleep. Naruto went to bed much later that evening. Because even though they had one more stop, he was so close to home. He was going to see Sakura and all his other friends and catch up on what he had missed, and he was going to bring back Sasuke and hopefully get the nerve to ask Sakura to be his date for the celebration. The celebration was more like an anniversary. It had been 2 years since Lady Tsunade had been Hokage, and Jiraiya and him were going to be home just in time for it. Chapter 2. The next morning, Naruto and Jiraiya were on their way to pick up the young lady that Lady Tsunade invited to the Leaf Village. Who is this girl that we're supposed to be picking up? What makes her so important that old Grandma Tsunade would invite her? Jiraiya recalls the conversation he had with Lady Tsunade before Naruto and himself left. "Jiraiya, it is extremely important that this young lady's safety is guaranteed. She will play a very important role in this world. Her father understood, and that is why when her parents died I vowed to protect her when the time came. But now I need your help." "So she has potential equivalent to Naruto's?" "I believe so, however she needs a chance to develop and understand more about herself. Naruto has his friends, who he knows he can rely on and believe in, but when I visited last, I noticed that the villagers accepted her, but they all kept themselves at arm's length. I don't think that this girl has ever relied on someone or knows what that even means. And if I am right, when she enters the ninja world she won't last long." Quote. "Don't worry Naruto, although he doesn't know it, he connects with people, he does his best to understand everyone, so I am sure this young lady will learn all she needs to in her stay. And besides, I am sure all the guys will appreciate having an actually lady around." "Excuse me Jiraiya, are you trying to hit at something?" Lady Tsunade commented as she raised her fist. "Oh well, if you look at the time," Jiraiya said as he hurried to leave, but he wasn't quick enough to evade Lady Tsunade's punch. Jiraiya. "Oh, and wait," Tsunade screamed, "she is betrothed. Whatever you do, you must not interfere with this, make sure of Naruto especially. This marriage must go on, or all of us will end up facing a war that none of the nations are ready for." Well, Naruto, her father was a friend of Tsunade and the 4th Hokage. Lately the villagers of the village she lives in think that she needs to learn more about her history. So that when she becomes the wife of the Hokage of her village she is able to fulfill her duties as the wife. Her father and mother died in the war that took place in fighting the nine-tailed fox and she was just a baby when all of this happened like you. That is why the villagers and her fiancé want her to learn her role and the importance of it. Quote, "When I become Hokage, my wife will be Sakura," Naruto said with a big grin. Oh, but pervy sage, why is she coming here if she need to learn about her history? You Naruto, you really need to learn to listen. Enough of this, if you don't get it now you'll get it eventually, hopefully. As Naruto and Jiraiya continued walking they saw a man waving at them. Both Naruto and Jiraiya looked behind them confused to see who it was the man in the middle of the road was waving at. Is he waving at us? I guess so, Jiraiya said with a shrug. Naruto, still confused, just stopped walking. As he looked more closely there was another person standing next to the man in the middle of the road. It was a girl. She looked about 15, close to his age. Wait, Naruto said, still confused. Is this the young lady that we are looking after? Oh hey Naruto, you're right. I knew I brought you along for a reason, Jiraiya said as he shook Naruto's head. Jiraiya confirming what Naruto guessed only caused Naruto to be further confused. This young lady really was young, and yet she already had a fiancé, and nevertheless she was going to be marrying her fiancé soon. As Naruto snapped back into it and continued to walk to the group, Jiraiya was smiling, and was waving at Naruto to hurry up. Hello, my name is Jiraiya, you must be Sango, it's very nice to meet you. Hello, unfortunately Nasuro was unable to come but he sends his gratitude. Very well, this is my student, Naruto. A pleasure to meet you. You too lady. Alright, well then I guess we're off. Otaru, when is she to return to your village? You may take as long as you like. When you think that she has learned and mastered what is to be expected of her, she may come home. However, until Lady Tsunade has signed off she is not allowed to return home. Naruto just stared at Taru. How in world could he act so cold to her? He didn't even say goodbye. Okay then, we'll be on our way. Hopefully everything will be okay when we meet again. Chapter 3. It was noon when Jiraiya, Naruto, and Sango arrived at the Leaf Village. Naruto was extremely excited about being home and Jiraiya could see it. So he said that he would take Sango to Lady Tsunade. So while Jiraiya went to go see Lady Tsunade and get Sango acquainted with the town, Naruto went to go see Sakura, so he could ask her about that date he had been waiting to ask her. Is this my day? Is she going to say yes? My heart keeps racing. Is it because I've been away from home for so long that I just can't wait to see her? Naruto kept running through his thoughts as he ran to find Sakura. Where should I begin? She's probably on her way to the celebration. I'll just wait at the entrance of the festival, but oh, what if she's at home waiting for me to ask her? Naruto stood puzzled. He kept scratching his head, but he just couldn't make up his mind. However, as Naruto stood there trying to figure out his best move, he saw Sakura in the middle of the street. Hey Sakura, I'm back. Come give me a hug. Naruto leaned in for a hug but then stopped halfway. He began rubbing his eyes because he couldn't believe what he was seeing. His sexy Sakura all dressed up, which wasn't the problem, holding Kiba's hand. Naruto couldn't help screaming, what? Oh, give it a rest Naruto, replied Sakura. Hey Kiba, hey Sakura. Naruto repeating to himself Kiba and Sakura. When did that happen? Naruto began regretting stopping his hug halfway, that way he wouldn't have to be repulsed at the sight of them holding hands. But I'm glad you're back, Sakura said and ran up to him to give him a hug. Dude, welcome back, how was your trip? And you better hurry up to get a date for the celebration or all the girls will be taken. Naruto was now staring intensely at Kiba. Yeah dude, I know I was planning on asking Sakura but I guess you beat me to it, Naruto said trying to joke it off. Anyway, I got to go and talk to Pervy Sage for a minute, he brought back someone and my job is to watch her. So I'm going to go, so I'll talk to you guys later. Naruto tried to dash out of there but then Kiba started talking. Wait, what? I thought you guys were going on a research mission to find out more about Orochimaru. How did a girl come into the picture? Kiba said with a slightly excited face. He was probably glad that someone else might take away Naruto's interest from Sakura. But let us be honest, when has that ever happened? To be honest, I'm not sure. Jiraiya said Lady Tsunade sent for her, or rather her village sent for us. I'm not sure why, and all that other stuff, but it's something to do with her village. I don't know, but I'll talk to you guys at the celebration. Okay dude. Sakura was about to say, see you at the celebration, but Naruto took off before she had a chance to say anything. He wasn't staying in that room a second longer, he didn't even want to know if this was just a date or a real thing. Naruto felt like his heart had been ripped in shreds. How could she go on a date with another guy? She had always turned him down because of Sasuke. How could she give her heart to someone other than himself? Sasuke was the only worthy rival. Naruto wanted to cry. He decided he needed time to think and cool off. He went to the only place he felt connected with Sasuke. At the pier on the lake, the place where Naruto would always catch himself looking at Sasuke, wanting to talk, but was too prideful to. Naruto sat there for hours that it was eventually night when he decided it was time to actually find Jiraiya. And he realized that he still might be able to get a date to the dance even if it was only as friends. That girl, oh what was her name, she would probably like to go to the festival and I can be her guide, Naruto thought out loud to himself. Naruto began looking everywhere for Jiraiya. He knew he was supposed to meet back with him after he finished talking to his friends. As he was jumping house to house, she saw the girl down at the stream where he had first trained with Jiraiya. Hey, your name is Sango, right? Yes, and yours is Naruto. Yep, up, got it. Have you seen Jiraiya? Yes, he's talking to Lady Tsunade and told me to wait by this river. However, he's been in there a long time. Oh, and Jiraiya said to tell you that he doesn't want to be disturbed. Oh, the only reason I was asking was because the celebration of the anniversary of Lady Tsunade is about to begin and I was wondering if Jiraiya would let you go. I mean, as long as you are here you should celebrate with the village and its holidays. I do want to go, but I was told to wait here. Here, why don't you go and I'll tell Jiraiya that I was the one who made you go. No, I should wait, Hera. But before she could even finish her sentence, Naruto put her on his back and start heading in the direction of where the parade was about to begin. You could see all the lights and people from above the buildings. Naruto, what on earth do you think you're doing? Put me down right now. I will when we get to the parade, Naruto said with a huge grin on his face. Naruto, put me down now. If you want to get down yourself, because I'm not stopping until we reach the location of the parade. Fine, I will. What do you mean by that? As Naruto was saying those words, Sango made 3 signs with her hands and then a strong current of wind came and picked her up off Naruto's back. Naruto just stood there in shock. Like the first time you talk to a girl you really like and she says yes, kind of shock. You can do Naijutsu. Yes, why is that such a shock to you? Replied Sango in a very polite manner. It's is just that he didn't think that you could do any type of jutsu, Naruto said, acting like an idiot as always. He always assumes. This is why Jiraiya said to listen. Idiot. Chapter 4. The Celebration. When Naruto had finally calmed down, it was 10 o'clock and the celebration was underway. Shortly after Naruto and Sango arrived at the festival, they ran into Kiba and Sakura. The 4 of them hung out the whole night. The celebration for Lady Tsunade had been the biggest one yet. There were games, music, dancing, laughter. What more could one want at a festival? While Sango, Sakura, Kiba, and Naruto walked around, looking at all the booths, Naruto decided he wanted ramen. To think he went without ramen for 3 months, who could have thought? When they got there the place was full, so they all agreed to come back later, well except for Naruto, but eventually he agreed. After another hour of playing games, the 4 of them split up. Sakura and Sango went together to find the rest of the girls and the other 2 went to find the other guys. So, how do you like Konoha so far? Asked Sakura. I really like it here. It's so lively, replied Sango. Yeah, so what was your village like? Sakura asked, already find the conversation awkward, and for some reason, she wanted to ask an obvious question, yet she couldn't. How friendly was she getting to Naruto? For some reason seeing Sango next to Naruto really bothered her. They seemed to be getting along so far, and she wanted Naruto to be happy. Like how she was with Kiba, happy. Yet she couldn't shake this feeling. She must have been emitting some sort of aura that Sango seemed to sense. Sakura could tell because she saw how tense Sango became, as she tried to answer Sakura. For a moment, it was silent, but not really. The noise of the festival still buzzed around them, like a group of performers. The liveliness began to take over the awkwardness of the conversation, and everything began to pick up. My village is quiet and the people there are very serious. They act like they are businessmen or something. They seem to have a heart of iron. I wish that someone would be able to melt their hearts so that they could feel once again. Sakura had not expected this. Sango acted as happy as everyone else in the village. She hadn't expected her to grow up in such an environment. Yet she still couldn't get over this thorn in her side. She didn't like Sango around Naruto. But she didn't seem to hate Sango. "What is wrong with me?" expressed Sakura, accidentally out loud. "Pardon. Oh, it was nothing. I was just talking to myself. And regardless of everything else, are you at least enjoying your time here?" Yes, I am, very much. All of you are making this place such an enjoyable experience." Again the conversation faded out, however, this time, there was no awkwardness following, just a mutual understanding that had been reached without any words spoken. The rest of their walk was quiet, unlike the boys. Seriously, was anyone expecting any less? "So Naruto," said Kiba, beginning to have a smirk on his face, "you found a date in time for the celebration as I can see." Kiba said while nudging Naruto. "Yeah, at first when I met her I thought she was a dumbass and thought she was going to be one of those royal snob kind of people, but she is a really down-to-earth type of gal." "Wait, royal, where did that come from? Isn't she just someone you have to babysit for someone as a mission?" "Yeah, I have to watch and keep her safe as part of the mission, but she's engaged to the next Hokage of her village. The people and her fiancé shoved a lot on her plate. So she's practically royalty in my eyes. But I don't understand the people of her village, they basically don't want her, well, to be her. So it's up to Lady Tsunade to show her how to be that person, just like the people of her village want her to be." "Wait, isn't she only like what? Like 14 or 15 at the most? How can she be getting married?" "Got me, all I know is that it's an arranged marriage." "Dude, is she okay with this?" "I have no idea. Does she even love and care for the man she is to marry?" "I don't know. Why do you care so much anyway?" "Because she is a cute girl and you're saying that she has a nice personality and she is getting married. She's throwing her whole life away. You think I don't know that, but she's going ahead with it. I was thinking of talking to her, but she seems to have her mind set on the way it's going. You should at least talk to her, but not today. Today just let her enjoy the freedom that she has. We had better find the guys. The girls are probably already together and complaining about how we're late. And don't worry, she'll be fine if she is learning from Lady Tsunade." "Yeah, that's true," Naruto said while sighing. So in about 30 minutes everyone met up, but it was 11:30 so only the slow music was playing. They all decided to dance. Ten didn't want to dance, so she said that she would see them tomorrow, and so did Lee. Ino said that she had to leave because she promised that she would bring Choji food at the hospital. Choji had gotten a really bad cramp from eating too much food too fast. The only ones that were left were Neji, Sango, Naruto, Sakura, Kiba, and Hinata. The rest were off on missions. That was a bummer, but they all still danced. Kiba asked Sakura to dance and Hinata got the gut to ask Naruto and Neji asked Sango. The dance between Sakura and Kiba was just mutual because their date to begin with was just as friends. He had wanted to ask Hinata, but she had been waiting for Naruto to come home and ask him. So Kiba, respecting Hinata's wish, he asked Sakura if she would be his date as friends. However, Kiba wasn't about to tell Naruto. He figured already that Naruto already jumped to conclusions thinking they were dating. The dance between Hinata and Naruto was awkward. Naruto was still the same old idiot and Hinata still held her feelings for him. So she was totally into the dance and he was so not. Can you just picture this? Smiley face. The dance between Neji and Sango was the most romantical dance ever. They both danced gracefully. Neji tried to look into her eyes, but every time he looked at her he noticed that her head was face down looking at the ground as if to watch her feet movement. When Neji noticed this he couldn't help but chuckle. "Hey, what's so funny?" Sango asked. This was the first time she looked up since they started dancing. "Oh, nothing," Neji replied, still trying to contain his giggles. "Hey, are you okay, Sango?" Neji asked with a concerned look on his face. "Yeah, I'm fine, why?" You just look like something on your mind, that's all. If you want to go home I can walk you home. Sango was thinking before she replied, would that be okay? I'm actually not feeling too well. Sure, just give me a minute to tell the others we're leaving and then I'll walk you home. Okay, thanks. Hey Naruto, Sakura, Kiba, Hinata, I'm going to take Sango home, she doesn't feel well. So we'll see you tomorrow. Wait, what do you mean she doesn't feel well, said Naruto. Sakura and Hinata felt a weight pressed on their heart. The envy they were beginning would only be the beginning. She just said that she didn't feel well and that she wanted to go home, so I'm going to walk her home. I'm sure it's nothing major. Oh, you don't have to do that, I can walk her home, Naruto said eagerly. He brought her here, he felt bad that she wasn't having a good time, and worse that she was feeling bad. It's okay, I ran into Jiraiya on my way here and her residence is on my way, and plus you're dancing with Hinata, it would be rude to leave in the middle of a dance. Naruto just realized how rude he was being to Hinata and backed down. He just waved goodbye to Sango. Farewell Lady Hinata, Neji said very formally. Bye Neji, Hinata said with a glowing smile. Alright Sango, let's go. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. As Neji was walking her home, he was telling her about a story that was told in Konoha. It was the legend of the reason the Leaf Village has a Hokage. The story is about a girl who was forced to marry this man, who was supposed to become the successor for the village. The fiancé had to change her ways to become the one her fiancé wanted. However, she did not love this man, but she only agreed to marry him, because she thought that she would be able to change the way of her village and make it that everyone is happy. In the end she said no to the marriage and said that the people should choose a person, who is respected throughout the village, a person the villager know would take good care of them. That is why the village elected the Hokage. The village would live by the one who they think is the best, and that's the myth of how the Hokage came about. Hey, that's a really cool story. And this is my place, I'll see you tomorrow, bye Neji. Bye. Neji waited for her to go in and then he started for his place. End of celebration. Chapter 5. When Sango woke up the next morning, she felt as if she had been Cinderella that had escaped to a ball. Even though she wasn't escaping to see a prince, she fell in love with the warmth and care she felt at the leaf. Unlike when Cinderella woke up, Sango's dream was still very much real. She hoped this dream would last forever. As the sunlight crept in through the crack of the curtain, Sango got herself out of bed, got ready, and headed for the grocery store. Although she felt like a princess, she definitely didn't have the appetite of one. She used up all the food left for her in the house for lunch, so she had nothing for breakfast, not even OJ. On her way back from the grocery store, Sango went past a flower shop. The scent of the flowers drew her in, so she decided to stop in and take a peek. As she opened the door, she noticed Sakura and Ino. Hi there Sango, Ino started talking. My name is Ino, I believe we met yesterday. Yes we did, Sango said with a smile. How are you? I'm doing swell, are you enjoying it here so far? Yes, thank you for asking, replied Sango in a very formal manner. Hey, you know what, said Sakura, we should take her around all the best places in town and give her a feel for it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Hey mom, can you look after the shop? I'm going to go out for a while. Before Sango had a chance to even reply, they had already grabbed her and left the shop. Although Sango was grateful that they were being so nice to her, she hadn't even made her breakfast yet or even unpacked, but she didn't want to seem rude. Oh, what to do? She kept repeating to herself. In the end she just decided to stay quiet and have a fun time with the girls rather than upset them. Sango didn't want to lose friends before she even made them. So Sakura and Ino took her on around the whole area. Sango saw the monument of the 4 Hokages to the training fields in the lowest areas. However, although Sakura and Ino were showing her the town, they mostly showed her the best places to shop. They stayed hours in clothing and makeup stores. However, by time they got to the 12th store, Sango was starving, because they hadn't stopped anywhere to eat. It was almost noon and her stomach was beginning to grumble. Sango saw how engrossed Sakura and Ino in their shopping and she didn't want to disturb them since they were having so much fun. Sango decided that it would just be better to slip out and find a place to eat. She ended up going to the ramen shop that they passed not too long ago, and then she would just go back to the shop. Sango had arrived at Ichiraku's ramen shop, and guess who else was there? Naruto. What the heck, why are you up? Don't you sophisticated ladies need your beauty sleep? Haha, very funny Naruto. And more than my beauty sleep I need food. Now that's not something a lady should say, said Naruto in a very sarcastic voice. Naruto put a cork in it. Okay, well, before I do that, why don't I order for you since you're new and all? Plus this is my favorite place to eat, so it's only befitting. Sure, why not? So as Naruto ordered for her, Sango began sizing up Naruto. She couldn't decide if he was an annoying little pest or if he was sweet and kind. So did you and Neji have some fun last night? You know what I mean. Well, that decided that he was an annoying little pest. We had a great time, but not that way. Unlike you, Neji is a gentleman. Well, I don't know anything about being a gentleman and all, but you don't know anything about being a lady, and by the way, look down, you missed your mouth, Naruto said with a snicker. Ooh Naruto, I just want to eat in peace. I'm starving, I haven't had any food all day and I think that it would have been reasonable if I wanted to eat. You are the biggest buffoon I have ever met. Why thank you very much. You are so not welcome, Sango said while leaving Naruto with the bill. Well, she didn't have to be so uptight. Well Naruto, here is your bill. What, I didn't order that. Well, I put it on your tab since you order. So this is what I get for being a nice guy. Geez, Naruto said as he searched for his money. Meanwhile, Sango was on her way back to the shop. She slipped in and it didn't seem as if the other noticed that she was missing. Phew. However, she was still hungry. She didn't get to finish all of her food because of Naruto. Anyway, Ino and Sakura finally decided it was time to go. They finished showing Sango around and then Sango finally got to eat at home and in peace. Chapter 6. The next morning, Sango awoke feeling unusually tired. Maybe it was all the walking yesterday, or maybe it was just the emotional weight she was too polite to show. Still, she had slept well, wrapped in the warmth of a village that was beginning to feel like a dream she didn't want to wake up from. As she stretched and walked into the kitchen, a light knock came at the door. She opened it to find a messenger from the Hokage's office. Lady Tsunade asked that I deliver this personally, the shinobi said with a respectful bow, handing her a sealed scroll with the Hokage's insignia. Thank you, she replied, bowing slightly. She shut the door and unrolled the scroll, her eyes scanning the words slowly at first, then more urgently. Sango, I hope you are settling in well. I would like to meet with you today regarding your training. It's time we begin working on your chakra control and combat preparedness. Please report to the hospital wing at noon. Also, I received correspondence from your home village this morning. We will speak more about it in person. Lady Tsunade. Sango's heart dropped. Correspondence from home. Her first instinct was to feel nervous. She knew that meant talk of her engagement, of her duty. But she shook the thought off. She didn't want to ruin the peaceful morning she was having. After breakfast, she stepped out into the streets and found herself wandering again. Without even meaning to, her feet took her to the training fields. And, of course, there he was, Naruto, in full loud-mouthed, sweaty form, practicing shadow clone jutsu like he had something to prove. Hey, he shouted as he noticed her. Didn't expect to see you here. I could say the same, Sango said with a small smile. Came to train? No, just walking. Well, stick around. Maybe you'll learn something. Like how to trip over your own clone. She teased. Hey, that was one time, Naruto shouted, pouting. Anyway, if you're not doing anything, you could watch, I guess. Unless you're too much of a princess for that. Sango smiled again, but this time it didn't hide anything. I think I've been treated like a princess long enough. She sat on the nearby grass and watched him train, not saying much, but feeling lighter than she had since she opened the letter. Somehow, around Naruto, the weight didn't feel so heavy. And even though she didn't realize it yet, he noticed the shift in her mood. Hey, everything okay? He asked, uncharacteristically quiet. She looked at him for a moment, then nodded. For now. Chapter 7. The hospital wing was quieter than Sango expected. White walls, polished floors, the occasional shuffle of feet and hushed voices, it all felt too sterile for the kind of conversation she was walking into. She had changed into a more formal kimono before arriving. Something about meeting with Lady Tsunade made her want to stand straighter, speak clearer, and act like someone who belonged to a village, even if it wasn't this one. When she arrived, Shizune greeted her with a kind smile and escorted her to the Hokage's private office in the back of the medical wing. Tsunade was reviewing documents when Sango stepped in. "Ah, there you are," Tsunade said without looking up. "Right on time." Sango bowed slightly. "You asked to see me, Lady Tsunade." "I did," she said, finally setting her papers aside. Her tone softened a bit. "Sit. I'm not one for long formalities." Sango sat, hands clasped tightly in her lap. "I've been watching how you carry yourself," Tsunade began. "You're composed, polite, well-mannered. You're careful about how you present yourself to everyone." Sango nodded, unsure if that was a compliment or something else. "But I don't need manners right now," Tsunade continued. "I need honesty." Sango blinked. "About what?" Tsunade reached into her drawer and placed a sealed scroll on the desk between them. "This letter arrived from your village last night. It's from the council, and your fiancé's family." The words struck like a kunai to the chest. "They are requesting an update. More specifically, they're requesting to send a representative to monitor your progress and ensure that you are, quote, on the path to becoming a suitable wife for the next Hokage." Sango's face fell. "I see. I won't mince words," Tsunade said, her voice firmer now. "That request offended me. You're not a trophy to be groomed and delivered. You're a kunoichi with power you haven't even tapped into yet. If you stay in Konoha, that power will grow. But only if you choose it." Silence filled the space between them. "I don't want you to answer now," Tsunade added. "I'm going to assign you to a light training schedule, paired with another medical nin in the afternoons. And I want you to start thinking, not about who your fiancé wants you to be, but who you want to become." Sango nodded slowly. "Thank you, Lady Tsunade." As she stood to leave, Tsunade added one last thing. "You remind me of myself when I was younger. Quiet, but not because you have nothing to say, quiet because no one's ever listened the way they should." That stopped Sango in her tracks. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen. Back outside, Naruto was still at the training field, now flat on his back, arms spread, and clones disappearing in puffs of smoke around him. When Sango appeared again, he sat up quickly. "Yo, that was fast. Thought Tsunade would give you one of her scary lectures." "She did," Sango said, smiling faintly. "You okay?" "Honestly." She paused, looking up at the sky. "I think I will be." Naruto tilted his head, watching her. "You're weird," he said finally. "So are you." He grinned. "Glad we agree. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next fanfiction, only on Fox Fanfiction.